know what Allah is saying here? Allah is saying if you can just pay attention to the sky and you know how harmonious it is and how much balance there is in it, just by observing the sky, you would know whoever put this together loves balance. He loves balance. And you'd reach the conclusion that He's made me too, and if He loves balance all over the universe, the only place that's out of balance is this planet, and the only place that's out of balance is my life and my behavior. Everything else is in balance, so I'm pretty sure He expects me to live according to what? Some kind of balance. I'll bring it closer to home. Like imagine that there's a guy back in the day, thousands of years ago, he's selling bananas, right? So he's got bananas on this side, and he's got the weight on this side. And he's trying to cheat his customer a little bit. So he gives him one less banana, right? You could rig the scale a little bit, right? And you know what? Allah is saying, if you just looked up at the sky and you saw how much balance there is in the sky, you wouldn't be messing with your banana sales. You'd act differently. Now, where am I getting all this from? From this ayah, أَلَّا تَطْغَوْا فِي الْمِيزَانِ. The previous ayah was, He elevated the sky, put down a scale. All for what? So that you don't violate when it comes to scales. So you don't violate. So there's a connection now being made between the galaxies and the orbits and the universe with who? Me. With me directly. I'm directly connected to the skies. I don't need a khutbah on fairness. I don't need a khutbah on justice. You know what the khutbah on justice is? The sky. It's as if Allah has the right to ask me on Judgment Day, if I say, Ya Allah, I didn't know I shouldn't be cheating. Allah, I didn't know I shouldn't be stealing. Allah has the right to say, what, you never saw the sky? You never saw the sky? Think of it another way. You know, a manufacturer has a certain design. Designers have a certain design. How many people study architecture here? Anybody study architecture? One or two? Okay, alhamdulillah. So if you study architecture, you can pass by a building and you could say, I know that style. You can, if you know your stuff, you can even say, I know who the architect is. I bet you who they learned from or who they are. You can tell the design, from the design you can tell who the architect is. Some of you are into fashion. You see a pair of shoes from a distance, Chanel's, right? You can see a purse from a distance, bootleg, right? You know it's real or fake. Some people are into sneakers. That's their thing. That's what Allah created them for, is sneakers. You know, that's like the 1998 Jordans, limited edition. I was like, what are you smoking, bro? You know, some people are into watches. They can tell, from a distance, that's a Tudor, that's a Rolex, that's a this, that's a that, that's a Patek Philippe or whatever. They can tell. Some people are into cars, right? They can look from a distance. Oh, I know what that is. That's a Mercedes. Oh wait, that's a Hyundai. They copied Mercedes. Okay, yeah. Right? What am I trying to get at? When you understand the designer, like, when you sign a document, you have a signature, but sometimes the design itself is a signature. Isn't it? Sometimes the design itself, you can see the painting. I know whose painting this is. I know whose architecture this is. I know whose fashion design this is. I know whose bag this is. The brand has its own signature. So people can see like Apple products from a distance and that's probably an Apple product, right? They have a design to their... Allah has a signature in His design. Allah designed the universe. He also has a signature. What is His signature in the universe? It's balance. That's His signature. And then I look at myself and I seem to have balance in the way I can stand. I seem to have balance in the way I can move. I seem to have balance in the way my limbs are proportionate. I see balance in everything that He does, and the only thing out of balance is the way I behave. That's the only thing. So He says, He raised the sky and He laid down the balance so that you don't violate the balance. You don't violate the scale. You see the connection now? And that's a profound realization any human being should have arrived at. This leads me to this other really interesting conclusion here from where we started in this surah. The greatest way to know who Allah is Allah's own words. The greatest way. We started with that. Ar-Rahman, Allama al-Quran. There's no way you can know Allah better than Allah telling you Himself. That's Allah telling you Himself. Then it's as if you met the architect. You really know the architect. Okay, what's the next best thing? You've studied the architectural designs and their work, right? If I've studied the buildings that this architect made, I know some things about this architect. Do I know everything about this architect? I don't know their personality. I don't know their likes and dislikes, but I know some things about them. I know enough about what their design is like. Observing the universe, can it teach you something about God even if you don't know about religion? It can. It can teach you there's someone behind this mechanism that loves balance. But do you know everything about Him? You don't. But you do get somewhere. You do get somewhere. Now you'll appreciate, so the first layer, the highest level of getting to know Allah is His own words. The next level of getting to know Allah, the next best thing, is at least paying attention to what? The skies. Then you get to know that Allah loves balance. Allah loves justice. Allah loves fairness. Allah loves things in due proportion. That's the next conclusion you reach.